And I would call him and be like, yo, come do a song with me, and he'll pull up. He never changed on me. So shout out my brother Raekwon, shout out to the whole Wu, Inspector Gag. There's so many cousins of them. The Kappa down there, I don't know what to tell you. It's too many Wu members. That's a good question. Tell me the Wu-Tang's names, you'll definitely mess up.
Hey guys, welcome to BET Talks. I'm your host, Unique, and today our guest is the host of the 2023 Hip Hop Awards. Please welcome Fat Joe. How are you?
That's right. What an intro.
Thank you. Yes. And congratulations on year 2.
Man, it's an honor, it's a blessing. It's a dream come true. I think about all my life trying to get in the rap game. I started out at the Apollo Theater. I won 4 weeks in a row amateur night. And the road just led down to this. And this is the biggest platform, the biggest event of Hip Hop 50. And I'm glad to be the host, man. It's an honor.
But let's go back to the Apollo Theater real quick, because I remember listening somewhere and you said Red Alert was there and he asked for you to give him his track, and that just changed your life.
He put me on. I was winning the Apollo every week. I don't even understand why. One day I tried to walk back through it and see how I won. People just loved me. They just went crazy every time I came out. They was just like losing. I don't think they heard a word, right? And then Red Alert came up to me. He was like, yo, do you got any tracks? I think you a star. I didn't know I was a star. And so I gave him a promo, which later turned into my first single, Flojo. I mean, shout out to Red Alert, man. He changed my life.
Yes, Uncle Red has changed a lot of people's lives.
Well, he changed mine for real.
But can we talk about the impact that hip hop had on you before that? What's your earliest memory that made you really want to try it?
I'm a hip hop baby. And so I've been listening to hip hop. I grew up in the Bronx, birthplace of hip hop. My projects, I would see Melly Mel all the time. I would see Scorpio. These guys was the biggest rappers on the earth. And so for the first 10 years of hip hop, anybody that was popping was from the Bronx. And so not just born in the Bronx, like Shy Rock, first female MC who was popping, Funky 4+1, she from my projects, Love Bug Starsky, all these guys, Ruby D, the first Latino MC, he was down with the Fantastic Romantic 5. They from one block away. So as a kid, I would watch them play pickup games of basketball. I'd watch them play softball. The strangest thing that ever happened was one day I watched Melly Mel shooting basketball, and the next day I watched the Grammys, and he came down with Shaka Khan. He was like, Shaka Khan? A Shaka Khan? I'm like, yo, I see this guy on TV. It's just it was so unreal, man. And I was blessed to just be born in the Mecca of hip hop.
So now we're about to dig through the crates. This segment's called Diggin' in the Crates. Mm-hmm. And can you talk about the significance of that name to you?
Well, that's my crew. That's the foundation. That's where I started with Lord Finesse and Diamond D and Showbiz and AG, and rest in peace, Big Al, Buck Wow, OC. So that's my crew. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. So, I'm digging in the crates till I die.
So what we're going to do is...
Dig in the crates.
Dig in the crates. You're just going to talk about,
the covers?
Just some of these projects and, what it felt like when they first came out.
This was insanity. This is the most clarity, most professional album at this time.
Okay.
Not only that, they didn't fit the stereotype. And so everybody, even Run DMC, had the big rope chains and the blazers, and the Bronx was they were the backpack kids, the underground kids, so advanced on production, it don't make sense. And Tip, don't kill me because he's one of my best friends, but I like Phife more as a rapper. And I was jealous I wasn't big yet. But my favorite face on here is Heavy D, who I look up to my whole life. Heavy's on here. Where he's at? Damn, I can't find Hev right now. There you go, Heavy D. And so my dream come true was to get Heavy D's attention, Cause he made me feel good as a big man. To this day, I try to dress like Heavy D and be like him. And so I always loved that he was on the cover. Rest in peace, Biz Markie. Word.
I love that. So we also have, or you can just like
nah,
go
but you got the Pow. I was in Dapper Dam on 125th picking up a Gucci outfit, and Video Music Box came on, and it was the first time we saw N.W.A. Changed my entire life, like the Run DMC record. Like, I was like, we could rap like that? You could talk like that on records? And Eazy-E had the flamethrower. He was shooting fire, and they was running from the cops. And it was such a reflection. There was so much we could relate to these guys. And this right here, if you think Dr. Dre, you think Ice Cube, Friday, this, that, you think Eazy-E. I mean, this crew here, you get the Doc from here. It's the Diggy Doc, y'all. Like, I mean, this guy's, they just changed the whole game. And Dre, he was the first like big boy. So when you heard hip hop started, it was poor people's music. You make it how you make it, right? But Dre had this, you felt like you was at an iPic movie theater or something when you heard his albums and his music. He's such a genius.
Yes, he is. And you talk about the Chronic. We took it out to put this in there.
This is the greatest hip hop, boom bap album ever made. And there was a back and forth about who did the Kid picture first, him or Biggie. That was like undertone beef in hip hop. But Nas changed my life. I wanted to name my first son Nasir over that. And so before Nas came out, I was doing Flojo like, bust it, check it, watch, show. And he came out with that, his lyrics. And I really, really, really studied this album. And I listened to it every single day. 20-something years later, I listen to Illmatic every day to get me going. And it's my favorite album ever made in hip-hop music.
Have you told him that you listen to it?
He knows that. Hip-hop purist. This is hip-hop. DJ Premier, one of the greatest producers of all time. Guru was my brother, rest in peace. Me and him would spend hours and hours just talking to each other alone about the future. He was so intelligent, way before his time. And Gangstarr, one of the most legendary groups in hip hop history. Now this right here changed the game again.
Yes.
Kanye West, one of the greatest producers / MCs of all time, if not the greatest. Okay, and I'm talking about in the likes of Pharrell, the likes of Pete Rock, Q-Tip, Diamond D. These are all guys that started out making beats and started rapping. But Kanye West is by far a genius, a trendsetter. He opened the floodgates for hip hop like we know it now. With style, let's not even go into fashion. Right now I don't know what he's doing with the no shoes on in Italy, but the guy's a genius on every level of it.
Thank you.
Ha ha. I was a gangster when this was, I was a real gangster in the street, the hood, getting money, and I would be pluck one, pluck two, answering service. I was like, even though they were like the college kids, the toughest guys in the hood was pumping De La Soul, rest in peace, Yui. These guys right here were the first to be themselves. They didn't want to fall into any stereotype, any trend, and it was so dope and so refreshing for hip hop. And to this day, their contributions, I can't even measure them up right now in this interview right here. This is it. This is the biggest debate in hip hop music. This is, is it Wu-Tang? Is it Outkast? To this day, it's just the biggest debate. I was at the Source Awards when they won, and I seen them jump up and get happy. I've never been a regional thinker. Like, I'm New York hip hop to the fullest, but I love the South. I love the West. I love the Midwest. And these guys changed the game for the South. They put the stamp on. They was the first one with the flag saying, yo, we here, we got something to say, and you gotta respect it. Now, Andre 3000 is some people's favorite rapper of all time. You know, if you think they might have been millions and trillions of hip hop records and rappers and people will stand here. My man Dre of Cool and Dre will stand here right now and tell you how he's the nicest ever. So shout out to Outkast, shout out to Goody Mob, everybody that was mixing it up down there in the ATL early. Dallas Austin, the most slept on, unsung heroes in hip hop history, the Anthem Kings. Nobody got Hip Hop Parade. Nobody got OPP. These guys right here, they set it off with Latifah and the Flavor Unit. Tretch's, Eminem's favorite rapper. You know, very beyond criminally underrated what Naughty by Nature did for hip hop. The first so-called power couple, Tretch and Pepper pulling up to the awards holding hand. Then we got all the Nicki Minaj's and the Meek Mills. It's probably your era. One of the greatest albums of all time. And it's crazy because I had beef with him and I wouldn't allow myself to hear it. I wouldn't let DJs play it. But I knew that it was G-Unit. Boom! We could get it. Boom! We could get the drama pop. Boom, boom, boom! What's going? Recently, J. Cole came out at his concert and said it was the greatest album of all times.
Yeah,
Nas came out and said, yo, this changed the game. And it's a fact. His flows, his melodies, his beats, the energy hip-hop music had never felt. That energy that he was coming with, it was like, yo, this is that. You got that dangerous thing to it. He teamed up with Mr. Professional, Dr. Dre, and Eminem. See, 50 Cent would have still been amazing, but he came with them New York beats that was really, really good. But once again, Dr. Dre makes everything I pick. He makes everything crystal. It just gives you that
universal.
That just professionalism, like you on a podium or something.
Yeah, this was like my first album I bought when I was younger.
There you go. There you go. Now these guys here, I started out with them in 9-3. So FloJo and Wu-Tang was killing at the same time. Now I was getting $500 to do a show. They were too. So I did not know how 13 guys was eating off of $500 a show. It's really confusing to me. But the energy, it was like, with no disrespect, Wu-Tang's like an octopus. So many legs, so many, ODB was incredible. The Jizz is incredible. Method Man was the Nate Dogg of Wu-Tang. Probably made one of the top 5 greatest records with Mary J. Blige, All I Need, and got the duet with Biggie. I'll make it hot. People won't even stand next to you. Very confused why Biggie's album cover ain't here. Like Biggie's best rapper of all time. Like, very confused, BET. Like, you don't do this without the B.I.G. But Wu-Tang, Raekwon the Chef, one of my best friends in hip hop. My best friends in hip hop is Nori and Raekwon the Chef. Best, and I got a lot of friends. But Raekwon so much because at one time he was quadruple platinum and I was just an underground kid. I might have sold 10 records, literally. And I would call him and be like, yo, come do a song with me, and he'll pull up. He never changed on me. So shout out my brother Raekwon. Shout out to the whole Wu, Inspector Deck. There's so many cousins of them. The Capadonna, I don't know what to tell you. It's too many Wu members. That's a good question. Tell me the Wu-Tang's names. You'll definitely mess up.
Speaking of Biggie, you have a Biggie story I like. Of when you saw him in his salamander suit.
You know that story.
Can you share that story?
Well, I was with Biggie, right? So I gave Biggie his first show ever. So when I was rapping, I told you I would only get $500 a show. So something else I would do is throw parties in the Bronx at the Fever. And so I met Biggie at the Lyricist Lounge. He battled like 20 guys. He took everybody out. Flojo was already out. So I was like, yo, I want to give you a show up in the Bronx because I knew he was going to be the man. But he was still army fatigue, hockey jersey. So I used to hang out with Biggie in his house in Brooklyn. So one night I'm hanging out with Biggie and he says, yo, come to my party tonight, this, that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna come through. It was the Palladium, I believe. And I showed up that night and he comes on stage with a salmon suit on, a hat, a fedora hat, a fur. Like, I was like, yo, like, who is this guy? I was just with him with a hockey jersey on. And he showed me, yo, you could be a superstar. You could be, you know, from the streets and you could transform into a superstar. And that's exactly the same approach I took when I discovered Big Pun. I already knew, like, yo, we're gonna make him the Spanish Biggie. And so B.I.G., I think my greatest story with B.I.G. was I was there when he made Hypnotize. And I was in the studio, imagine Hypnotize, Biggie, and I'm in the studio with him like, yo, and he's killing that. So many stories with B.I.G., man. I love him to death. He passed away for no reason. One of the most beautiful people, most down-to-earth people I ever met, funniest people, wittiest people in hip-hop history.
Thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you.
And congratulations again on hosting this year's Hip Hop Awards.